to truly believe in the magic.
What's up, Magic fans? I'm Mikey, and welcome to this month's episode of Penny for Your Thoughts. We've been missing for the last few weeks, boys. But we're back. It's May the 12th. We're a few days away from the NBA draft lottery on Tuesday evening. We were supposed to record last week, and I got COVID along with the family, so we cancelled last week, and we've had all sorts of stuff going on. We all wanted a bit of a break after what was a very long, enduring season. But we're back, and we're going to start ramping things back up now as we get into the off season. So this week I'm joined by the normal boys, the gruesome twosome, Geraint Jones from the Valleys. Evening, G.
Evening. How are we, my friend?
I'm doing well, mate. It's a good to see your face.
Yeah,
we were trying to work it out. I think it's been 4.5 weeks since we last jumped on. But
4 weeks, and we've all been concentrating on other sports. Let's be honest. Since the magic of season's finished, I've been watching the Tampa Bay Lightning. Go Bolts! You've been watching Liverpool. Paul's been watching Leeds.
I've been crying,
keeping an eye on the play.
Yeah,
I've been sobbing.
Yeah, it's not been the best for the Lightning either. They got a game 6 tonight against Toronto to stay alive, so it'll be a late one for me tonight.
Right, be good. You'll enjoy it.
As long as we win.
Go Bolts!
Absolutely, good man. I'm glad you picked the team, Mikey.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there for you, mate. Do you know what I mean? I'm not an ice hockey guy. I don't know, not really.
No.
I'm a Liverpool fan. You know that's the main focus at the moment, with a FA Cup final on Saturday and a European Cup final again in a couple of weeks' time. So,
well, mate, with the FA Cup final, we helped you with kicking lumps out of a couple of Chelsea players.
You did. Did you see that video go around on Twitter today that the Leeds fans trying to keep hold of the ball even though you were losing the game at the time? There was a video. The ball went in the crowd, and this woman was trying to keep hold of the ball. And was it Marcus Alonso for Chelsea? Was just stood by the touchline, looking at her, just laughing, going, "You're the one losing the game, and you're time wasting by holding on to the ball." Outrageous. Never mind. But
that should be a rhyme or reason for us to be awkward with away players.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've got a special guest, Cori Yarckin, which if you've been a Magic fan for a long time, you should know. Cori's the in-arena host, so she'll be joining us shortly. We have the NBA draft lottery coming up on Tuesday, the 17th of May. So we are going to be hosting 2 watch parties again this year, like we did last year, virtually on Zoom. So similar to last year, I think we're going to be jumping on Zoom about midnight. I think I can't remember what time it starts now. It's normally about 12:30, isn't it? 12:30.
Yeah.
For about half an hour.
They go into that secret room, they do the draw, and they tell us the magic of dropped, basically.
Yeah. So we'll be diving on Zoom on Tuesday night. So if you'd like to join the 3 of us, and I think we've got about 20 odd people signed up to join us on Tuesday night. Last year we had a good successful watch party, and we had several guests coming on. We had Dante, Dan Savage, Hank joined us. We had several guests from different fans sitting inside the arena. We had Jonathan and Luke from the Sixth Man Show jumped on with us as well. So if you guys want to join us, if you're not going to their watch party, and you want to join us online, then all you got to do is head to the website orlandomagic.uk.com/events and sign up. Just throw your email in there, your details, and I will send you all the Zoom details on Tuesday, ready for Tuesday evening. So, yeah, we're going through it all again this year.
Have you been having a daily go on Tankathon?
No. It's just
no. I've got away from it. We kept dropping out of that, and it was just making me depressed. So no. I've been watching the ice hockey, mate. I'm not gonna lie.
and tweeting, winding Boston fans up a fair bit. I've noticed.
Oh yeah, you've got to wind the Celtics fans up, haven't you?
Absolutely. Well, seeing as Paul just brought it up, right, I've just brought up Tankathon. We'll do one more before Tuesday night. Sim the lottery, and we end up with the 6th pick. There we go. Right. None of that. We don't want that on Tuesday night. So moving on to a quick bit of Magic news before we get into our interview with Cori. The Orlando Magic announced just over a week ago that Jalen Suggs underwent surgery to address a stress fracture in his right ankle. They also went on to add he's expected to resume basketball activities this summer and make a full recovery for the start of training camp. So, boys, what was your... I know it's a little bit old news now, but what was your thoughts when you first read that, Paul?
Mate, for me, it made sense. Made perfect sense. Get the potential injury treated, get it out of the way during the summer, and it should allow him long enough to be able to get back to be influential on opening night. That's what we want. We want to see good play from him. So I'm happy. I'm happy to get it done, get it out of the way in the summer. I think we all know that he needed. There was clearly something wrong towards the end of the season. He was struggling. So yeah, right decision. We've got to applaud him.
I know they've done it early. Gee, have you got any concerns that it's gonna hamper some of his time this summer to work on his game?
Well, first of all, can't we catch a break? We're not even playing basketball and we get injuries. You know what it's like. I mean, none of us have had injuries in the last 4 weeks, luckily. But
hang on, Paul, have you had one? You're normally...
No, I've been all right actually. It's frightening. That's jinxed it. You watch. I'll be appearing next week on crutches.
Yeah, so like what Paul said, no, it's best to get it sorted as soon as possible. The sooner he can get back on court, the better. But you're just hoping he's doing the work in the gym, lifting weights, etc. Just getting himself ready for hopefully he'll be back for summer league, and then just get to play with his new teammates, new rookies, and everybody else that's in the camp, ready for training camp for when it gets to the business end of the off season.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last bit of small news, really, Bobby Marks I think he works for ESPN, tweeted last week an update surrounding Jonathan Isaac's contract, or a clause that was in that contract when the Magic extended him. We know, obviously, J.I. has missed the last 2 seasons with a torn ACL. He underwent surgery at the back end of March to address a right hamstring injury, which he picked up during his rehab, trying to get back on the floor. So hopefully we're going to see J.I. back next season. It's been far too long. But basically the remaining guarantee of his contract has been reduced, and there's a few grey areas in this, but I think it's if he gets waived, basically the guaranteed money of his contract will go down depending on if and when the Magic perhaps waive him. So 2022-23 season. So next season, he's only guaranteed 16 million. The following year, it's only 7 million. And the final year, 24-25 season, he's not guaranteed anything. But that's if he's been waived. I'm correct, G, aren't I?
You listen to
that's right.
Go on. No, go, G.
Yeah, that's spot on, mate. When it first broke, I had to do a little bit of a deep dive into understanding it, and essentially, if he, fails to play, etc., or has another setback, it's just almost like an insurance policy that the contract that he has signed, it doesn't put the team on the hook for all that money, and it reduces, like what you said, to 16 million if we waive him next year. I can't see that happening. The following season, 7, and then the season after that, no money against the team. So very astute by the front office in getting that written into his contract. Was it a season and a half ago now when he signed it? So I like it. I was going back and forth with Mo Moonsey from Sky Sports on Twitter on this, and he was commending our front office. And I did have to remind him that, our front office, they're pretty good. They did sort of put the Raptors and the Bucks in motion with drafting Giannis, and obviously, the whole structure with Toronto. So, we got good guys in the right place.
Yeah, I think. Do we honestly think that it's going to happen, that we waive him because of not playing like next season? I think it was Kobe Price who's put out that he had an interview with JI who has said that he's ready to go, and he's hopeful to be. He believes he'll be part of training camp and ready for the start of the season. He put it as a blip with the hamstring injury, but he's feeling good and strong, and he's working to be ready to be back on the court. I mean, like we've said, you wouldn't expect him to say anything else,
No.
But you've got to go with what he's said publicly, I suppose.
Yeah. How about you, Mikey?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we just want to see him back on the floor next season, don't we? So that's all we've really got to focus on. I mean, like I said, it's another not another clever move, but it's another smart move that the front office have made, because one thing that they've done well since they've been here is the contracts that they've handed out to players. So you got to look at like Wendell back in the off season before the season started, front loaded his contract and signed into a very reasonable team friendly deal. You got to think about, I mean, you even got to go back to like re-signing Vooch and Terrence Ross. Yeah. They were astute moves, and yeah, the front office have always handed out reasonable contracts. They look after their own, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm not reading too much into it. So yeah, there's not really much.
I'd love to see what JI and Wendell can produce together.
I just want to see JI back on the floor shooting a basketball, to be honest, and blocking shots again.
I just want to see them two playing together.
That's all that matters. When you're there opening night, Paul, that's all we want to see, mate. Isn't it?
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, mate. That'll be exciting.
Absolutely. Well, there's not much Magic news to talk about. We were discussing before we jumped on off air about what we're going to do in a few future episodes. So we're going to start looking, I think, after Tuesday night, once the draft lottery's done, and we can start looking at prospects and start looking at how this roster construction is going to look like ready for the beginning of next season. We'll talk about free agency and all that sort of stuff. So that's all going to be coming upon us quite quickly. We're obviously in the middle of the NBA playoffs at the moment. Last night, G was, I had a quick chat with you this morning, and you were very happy that, Paul, do you want any spoilers? Because you've got some catching up to do.
I am still at the point where Golden State are 2-1 up. I've just, because I was away for the first part, I'm still catching up.
Yeah.
There's been various things. I've had no chance today, obviously, with circumstances at home, which, not to be ambiguous, my mum's been rushed into hospital today, so it's been somewhat disjointed for me today, so I've not caught up yet. So, but carry on, talk about it.
That's all right. So, well, tonight we've got Miami versus Philadelphia. Miami are 3-2 up in that series, so hopefully.
Thanks for that.
There you go.
I won't bother watching now, then.
And Phoenix are going to play the Mavericks, who
I know that one's 2-2.
It's not.
No, it's 3-2.
It's 3-2 now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Phoenix are leading that one 3-2. Milwaukee are 3-2 up against the Boston Celtics. Thank God. And the Warriors are 3-2 up against the Grizzlies, who absolutely wiped the floor with them on Wednesday evening. Without Ja Morant as well. Tyus Jones had himself a bit of a night. I can't even find the stats.
Cousin Tyus, yeah.
Cousin
Tyus, he did well.
Cousin Tyus. But yeah, so we've got four series that have all gone 3-2. So with deciding games coming up, so it should be interesting.
I need to catch up.
Looking at it now, who's your favourite for the finals?
If you're coming to me first, I've got to say Phoenix. They've been very good. pretty consistent. They've had a few blips. They seem to have overcome it. So I've got them coming out of the West. The East is a bit more of a coin flip. Miami have looked pretty good, although I don't know what happened to their fans yesterday or the day before.
Well,
Just playing an empty arena. I know. Like,
well, that's the one thing I have noticed.
Yeah, conference semi-finals, and you can't even fill the arena. They can fill the Amway Centre, but they can't fill their own arena. Funny that, isn't it? Anyway,
I have noticed that there's loads of empty seats around on the games I have watched so far. It's like, really? Where are they? Are they overcharging?
I don't know. Mikey will tell you. Mikey was one that actually left early when he went to Miami. Didn't you, mate?
Yeah. I'm not going to retell that story because I think I've already told it before. But yeah, that was a little bit different. That was a little bit different.
I know. I'm only joking. But in fairness, no. I've watched all of the Brooklyn against Boston series, and I've watched all of the Boston against the Milwaukee Bucks series, and I'm not going to lie, Boston have played pretty well. And in fairness, Al Horford, like a man on a mission last couple of games. It's quite scary.
Yeah,
I know. Marcus Smart's been playing well. Jason Tatum's playing well. Obviously, I want them to lose, so I've been rooting for them to lose. I've been winding up the Boston Celtics fans in the UK, as I do on a consistent basis. But yeah, luckily last night they choked. They were up 13 with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and Milwaukee pulled it out, which was brilliant.
You say you're winding them up. You might think you're winding them up. They're probably just laughing at you because we're not even in the postseason.
Probably.
But anyway.
Probably.
I don't necessarily agree with the Phoenix. I think Phoenix is the best team in the West, but I wouldn't say they've played really, really well. I don't think there's any team in the postseason that you can look at and go, they are head and shoulders better than everybody else that they're going to come up against. Like for me, Milwaukee is who I think will make the finals again, but there's certainly teams that are going to really test them to get there this year.
Yeah, but what you've got in the playoffs,
and I think the West is the same. Like Phoenix were 2-0 up, and you thought, here we go, that they're going to either sweep this series, and nobody really gave Dallas a chance, and then they pulled it back to 2-2. And do you know what I mean?
You've got the first seed against playing as the 4 seed here. You haven't got some bit part team. You've got quality teams, so they're going to defend their home floor. But when they've needed to step up, they have. So I think Phoenix have got all the resources there, to do what they need to get. But they, like you said, they haven't been firing on all cylinders, but they've got all that, weaponry to get it done. So that's why I'm picking them.
I think it's wide open, personally, with who can get to the finals in both conferences. I don't think there's any of those teams that you couldn't say. I think probably the Grizzlies are the only team I would write off just because Ja Morant's injury. But the other 6 or 7...
And was that a dirty play? What do we think?
Nah.
No,
it wasn't. The Dylan Brooks one was very dirty.
I've not seen that.
Have you not? Well,
yeah.
It's not a nice watch. It's one of those that the landing was a bit cringe. But yeah,
I've not seen that.
For me, other than the Grizzlies, I don't want Miami or Philly to go through, to be honest. But Philly could still make that a 7-game series, and could still beat the Heat, especially with no fans for Game 7. If they get to Game 7, if there's no atmosphere, no, I'm just winding up now. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's wide open. But I would like to see a rematch of the Bucks and the Suns again. I think that would be a good watch.
Yeah, I think that's where it will go ultimately. But I think that you can make an argument for any of the teams that remain to go further. I think that a 7-game series between Miami and Milwaukee would be a very, very tight affair. Because what I've seen of Miami, and I know I'm a few games behind, but they've been playing some really good basketball. And you look depth across the squad. They've really built a strong roster. It's very hard to see them not putting up a fight against whoever they come up against. But I think it'll ultimately be a rerun of last year's final.
Okay.
Hopefully. That's what
Which now I've predicted it, you know full well.
It's all gone down the pan.
The other 6 teams are all like, yes.
Good stuff. Well, let's get Cori on. Okay, and this week we are thrilled to be joined by Orlando Magic in-arena host and former Magic dancer Cori Yarckin. Cori, thank you for joining us. I know you're coming off a busy season. Are you enjoying your off season?
Yeah, I thought that I would be less busy now, but I still haven't really slowed down. I have, 4 jobs, but wow. The 2 that you guys know about are done. So now I'm down to 2 jobs right now. But I'm trying my best to take some time this summer for myself and breathe a little bit. It seems like football season and basketball season are right around the corner in my head. So, and do whatever I can to enjoy Florida in the summer. Yeah.
Got to be done. It's got to be done, Cori.
What
are your other 2 jobs then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so random. I work at the theme parks. I'm a tour guide at the theme parks, which is super fun. And then I just started back in September doing, it's completely not entertainment related, but I'm doing business development for a roofing company in town. So anyone listening, if you're a big developer and you need a commercial roof, you know who to call. Okay. I'm diversifying, everyone.
Way to take the opportunity, mate. I'm impressed.
Right? Yeah. No rest for the weary over here, but
good time. So for our listeners, Cori, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background before you joined the Magic?
Yeah, so I am actually from Orlando, Florida. I wasn't born here, but I moved here when I was 3. So I don't even remember anything before that. So in my head, Orlando is my hometown. I, went to school here, high school here. I went to UCF, which is the college here in Orlando. And I have always been in entertainment in one way or another. I grew up dancing and doing musical theater, and then during after high school and the beginning of college and past that, I was in music. I had a band for a while. We were actually pretty successful, and that was a really fun chapter of my life. And I kind of fell into hosting. I was living in LA and just doing red carpet reporting for movie premieres and stuff like that, which sounds really cool, interviewing celebrities, but I hated it. It wasn't fun.
Really?
And so I ended up moving back home to Orlando. And when I was kind of pressing restart on my life, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't doing music anymore. I didn't like those opportunities doing the type of hosting I was doing in LA weren't really available. And so that's when the auditions for the Orlando Magic dancers popped up. And I was like, why not? Let's try. It was something I always wanted to do. But I never had the time because I was doing, music and other things. But I made the team. I was the oldest one on the team. So that was a proud moment for me. But why I'm telling you that, it just so happens that the year I started dancing for the Orlando Magic was a year that they were using dancers as the MC during the game. So that's kind of how I got my foot in the door for this job that I do for the Orlando Magic. And I did that for 2 seasons, dancing and hosting in sequins and half tops, which was really not embarrassing. It was just right. And then after that, I said to my boss, I was like, listen, I'm not gonna be dancing anymore. They used to have a full-time MC. And I said, if you want to bring back that position, I'm your girl. And they were like, okay, let's figure it out. And so here I am, just closed out my 8th season with the Orlando Magic, and it's been quite the ride.
Was that Scotty B who had the job before?
Yeah, Scotty B and this girl Megan Clementi, who I know both really well. They're awesome people.
Too, wasn't she? Yeah.
She was a dancer as well, and Miss Florida. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every time I've been in the arena, you've had a really good rapport with both DMC previously and now DJ Strong. You know, obviously you've already touched on how the change of role came about, but what is it that you love about working with these guys, and what's the best part of your job? What do you enjoy the interactions with the fans?
I mean, first of all, you've been there. That's so awesome. And we haven't met. Have we met? No, right?
We have. Yeah, you and I have met.
We have.
Okay.
2018, March 2018.
Okay, amazing. Well, so you know then that like first of all, the atmosphere inside Amway Center, which I think is changing names, by the way, is
breaking news.
You heard it here first. I don't know for sure, but it's the atmosphere in there. Whether we're winning or losing, it's always a good time, right? Like, and that's part of my job, and that's part of my co-host job, whether it was DMC or D Strong. Now, we, you know, especially when the team isn't doing good, we have to, not just us, but like the whole entertainment side of the team has to really elevate to keep everyone, you know, for lack of a better word, entertained, right? We need to keep you guys in good spirits no matter what's happening. And so that's a challenge at times. But I mean, like, this is like what I'm like, you know, even when I'm not doing a podcast. So it comes easy for me. So I just like have fun, whatever it is, whether the contest or whether I'm interacting with fans or just being silly on the Jumbotron, like that's great. And, you know, having a co-host like DMC or D Strong, who now I've been with quite a few years, we have such a great rapport, and it's so fun having that back and forth, and we kind of get each other, you know, and we're just like getting ready for the fan cams, and we're like, all right, we're going to do it this way. It's going to be hilarious. And what if we try this? So it's always, I don't know, we don't take ourselves too seriously. And that I think is what makes it the most fun.
Yeah, it comes across that you don't take yourself seriously. How can you? In the role that you're doing, how can you take yourself seriously? You've got to be willing to have a laugh at yourself and put yourself out there doing stupid things. It's part of it, and as you say, it makes for the entertainment and the atmosphere. Have there been any particular things that you've really enjoyed as highlights that you do?
I mean, you know, being part of the team for this long, like being a dancer was an experience for sure. And a huge, I mean, even a bigger commitment than what I do now, because there was rehearsals twice a week on top of being at almost every game. That was really cool to experience. But like I said, 2 years was enough for me. But it was like, you became so close with the other girls, you know? And there was like a big fan base for the dancers and the cheerleaders as well. And that was really neat to see. I'm actually sad that they're not there anymore. But once I've been hosting, of course, like, I mean, getting to represent the Orlando Magic at All-Star now four times. Oh my gosh. Yeah. LA, Chicago, Charlotte, and now where were we? Where was it? Cleveland. It's not just an honor, but like, crazy. It's crazy. You know, like everywhere you look, there's like every celebrity you can think of. And like, I'm trying not to think about that because I'm trying to like be good at my job and not get nervous by everything that's happening around me. So that obviously is really, really cool. But one of the standout moments for me since I've been with the team, you know, I talk about the team not always doing so great, right? And it's hard to like get that like energy back from the fans when we're not, right? So it was, I guess it was 2019 that they were in the playoffs, right? Against Toronto.
The Raptors, yes.
Yeah. And we won the first game away. And then when they came back, that first game at home, like, I hadn't experienced anything like that in my entire time. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It broke up for a second. Yeah.
Okay. So that first game back at home during the 2019 playoffs, when we had already won one and we were playing Toronto, just the energy in the building that we were getting back from the fans was so exciting. Like no matter what I said, everyone was like, yeah, you know. It was so cool. And I always say like this job is so great, but I can't even imagine what it would be like to be the host of, you know, a team like that's winning, like Milwaukee, or at the time the Raptors or the Warriors or something like that, where there is such a culture and like that type of excitement around the team. So that was a little taste I got, and that was just super fun. And I'm like, I will never forget that first quarter of the game.
It was crazy.
Yeah, the atmosphere in game 3, we all came over, especially for the playoffs.
Okay, so you were there.
Yeah, we were in for game 3 and 4. Yeah,
amazing.
The atmosphere in game 3, that, as you say, that the player introductions, the start of everything was amazing.
Yeah, the first half.
And then as we put that run on and get in the fourth quarter, because we pushed them in the fourth quarter. Everybody was on the feet. It must have been incredible to be on the court and experience that.
Yeah, it was definitely cool. And then there was one timeout I did one time with like the dunk crew. You know, the guys that do the flips and they dunk.
Yeah.
And they needed someone to like be part of the skit. Like I was like, you know, I'm up for anything, guys, for whatever. And so I was like, I'll do it. And so I had to like, they put me on this guy's shoulders. And then the thing was 2 guys would come and flip and put 2 basketballs in my hands. And then 2 more guys were going to come and take the basketballs out of my hands and then dunk them. So not only did I have to kind of not catch the balls, but like be there and like not drop the balls with my tiny little hands. Then they had to come. So anyhow, long story short, it all happened perfectly. And it was like the best, like so many people. It was the greatest moment. I have the best picture of it. So it's so funny. Very different highlights, but All-Star, all of them, hosting Saturday night, that third game in the playoffs, and then that moment in that timeout, I think are my 3 standout moments.
I get that.
Wow. That's quality. You touched there upon the whole Magic Dancer experience. I've actually got a cup here. I've got Nicole on there.
Oh, Nicole! I'm so mad I never got a cup. Whatever.
Didn't they make one of yours?
No. I would have like so many of them. No, amazing. Yeah, but she's a good friend of mine. So.
That's cool. You just touched upon the All-Star weekends that you did. Obviously, you were on it this year again. But tell us about the pride that you have in representing the Orlando franchise and community, because they try and get somebody from each franchise to do various parts, don't they, to keep everybody involved. So tell us about your pride in representing the Magic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, I kind of know I'm going like maybe a month or 2 before, and it's always like so exciting. But like, we don't ever know if anyone from the team is actually going, right? So like the fact that I know that I'm going, I'm like, yes, at least we'll have some representation there or whatever. But I mean, I think every year they've worked it in somehow, whether it was the dunk contest or whatever. I mean, having Vooch and all that. But you know, here's the thing, like I grew up in Orlando. My family had season tickets since day one. It's the very first season, 1989. And like really good tickets, guys. Okay. And I have an older brother and he was always very into it. My dad, everything. So like, you know, I bleed blue, and no matter if they're doing good or bad, like I'm always going to be a fan. So getting to go to All-Star and getting to represent not just an NBA team, but my team is like pretty awesome. And I know you guys see, like, I put a lot of like effort into what I wear, especially for All-Star. I'm like, I got to up the game every year. Okay. More sparkles, more rhinestones. Like, what can I do? And it was funny because this year, like I loved my outfit was all the sparkles. But when they make us do a fitting before, like to see what we're going to wear. And I put on this outfit that I have. It's completely sequin pants, rhinestone top, this jacket that's got magic blinged out on the back, and I had got this like magic like chain bling thing made. And when I put that on, the girl, like the stylist or whatever, the wardrobe person, she goes, "Oh no, you can't wear that. That's too much. It's like, that's overkill, babe. And I was kind of heartbroken a little bit because I love this like bling thing that I had. And then I thought to myself, well, even though like my outfit is super magic and the back says magic, I had a little tiny belt buckle that said magic. That was the only, like, you only see me on the Jumbotron from, my chest up. So I was like, no, I didn't tell her, but I wore it anyway. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna wear this because it mattered more to me that magic had representation is my point, that people knew when I was on the Jumbotron that I wasn't just a NBA All-Star host, that I was from the Orlando Magic. Like, that's important to me. And it's so funny whenever I'm walking around at All-Star, whether I'm working every day, rehearsals or going to the events or whatever, always decked out in the baddest magic gear I have. And people are like all the people that work there, they're like, Cori, we know what team you work for, okay? It is no surprise to anyone who you work for, okay? Like, so it's funny. But no, I do have a big pride for this team that, has had, it's a brand, and it has had such a past, and we are working towards the future, and I'm there for it, so.
That's cool. You mentioned there that you've been fans since day one. Can you tell us who your all-time favorite player is?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. So my all-time favorite player as a kid was Nick Anderson. And it's so funny because now he's an ambassador for the team.
Yeah.
And so it's so surreal to me when I walk in the door every game and he's like, what's up, Cori? And like gives me a high five when he's sitting down and I walk by him. And I'm like, that's so cool. You know what I mean? Like, I just love him. He's a good guy. So.
Well, we had Nick on the podcast. What was it? A couple of years ago now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
He's
G's favorite player as well. And
okay.
G's like a little kid in a candy shop. I was, oh, it's Nick Anderson, like freaking out.
Was he?
Yeah,
How was he?
It was awesome.
He was awesome.
Really cool.
He was awesome.
Amazing.
It just depends. Like you get it. Like he's a pretty like quiet, reserved guy until he's in the spotlight, and then he won't stop talking. Like
he was full on, man. All show. It was one of those as well where he said, I've got like 20 minutes, half an hour. I think about 5 minutes in, it was, guys, go as long as you want.
Right.
He just had fun. Like. He enjoyed it.
Brian Hill was the same as well, wasn't he? When we had him on?
He was. Yeah,
absolutely. So funny.
But it's not often you get to interview your all-time sports hero. So high five, Carl.
Oh yay! I did one thing with him. Yeah, before last season, it was fun. But yeah, he's great. Oh, that's fun. Yay! Not 25 all the way.
Absolutely.
T-Mac's the next big one we want on the podcast, but there we go. So if anybody
I don't know if I can help you with that.
Yeah, come on, Cori. We need you to do your thing, all right?
Call Brian Hill.
It's all right.
You might get him in there.
So let's talk about some Magic apparel and jerseys then. So obviously that's a big part of your outfits for the game nights and all that sort of stuff. So what's your favorite Magic apparel that you've got, or jerseys, past or present?
I mean, I don't know who you're wearing, but
I've got the Shaq version on at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, anytime I look at always, this is my go-to, like this style, whatever. Yeah. I don't know what it's called. I'm not as schooled on jerseys as you guys, I'm sure. But that, like the throwback stuff is my absolute favorite, especially the black with white pinstripes. And this logo with the star. For sure, 100% hands down. And also my other favorite piece, which I wear all the time, is that my starter jacket. I almost wore it today. You know, the one that Shaq wore and they all wore too back then?
The 89, yeah.
So good. But it's just really loud for a podcast. So I had it on. I was like, all scratchy. And I was like, probably not. But those are my two favorite, for sure. What did you guys think about the orange and the city night stuff we've had these past couple of years?
They're good. I think it's time for a change.
Yeah. That might be happening too.
Oh.
You didn't hear that from me.
Anything you want to drop on the podcast? No.
I can't. That's
Have you seen anything? Have you seen anything yet?
I have, but I can't tell you it. But I think everyone, when that came out, they were like, "Huh?" Even now, a lot of fans that don't come, or not fans, but like people that haven't been to a Magic game in years, and it's one of the city nights where we're wearing orange and white or orange and gray or whatever it is, they're like, what happened to the blue? And I'm like, it's just tonight, guys. Don't worry.
I've really liked it. I really liked the kind of left field idea behind it. I thought it was good. But yeah, throwback pins all the way.
Yeah, throwback all day.
No arguments.
What it was, I forget. 2 years ago or 3 years ago was the 30th anniversary, and we had throwback nights, and that was the best because I had an excuse to not only wear all that stuff, but like there was so much of it in the team shop, and I get basically whatever I want for free from the team shop. Just amazing. Yeah,
you just know full well that when we come over in October that you're not getting rid of us, Cori, until you put the trousers on.
Nothing's gonna fit you, unfortunately.
I can see you telling the guys, yeah, honestly, I do need a 46 chest. Yes, honestly, I do.
Yeah, I did during COVID. I did like a video. They did like a tour of my closet, so you could see all my magic stuff and how I like put outfits together and stuff like that. That's on YouTube somewhere. So that was kind of fun. But I have so much stuff, guys. Like so much. So anyhow.
I bet we could have. I think I could have a competition with Cori. I'd run her close.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What competition though?
Your gear is insane, P. Some of the stuff you've got, without a doubt.
I got about 50 jerseys.
Wow.
You've been clearing some bits out as well, haven't you, recently?
You definitely have me beat for sure.
Nothing in his bank account.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have a jersey off.
Cori, we've got to talk a bit more about the time as a magic dancer. What is actually the process of getting into the team as was?
Yeah, I mean, again, the dance team is now very different than it was then.
Yeah, it is.
But for 30 years, they had the Orlando Magic Dancers, and it was so. Why I even wanted to do it, especially at that time in my life, was when I went to college. I lived with magic dancers. So when I was like 18, 19, 20, I lived with magic dancers, and it looked like so much fun. They were like local celebrities everywhere they went. But and then fast forward to later in my life, I'm like, it was always something I wanted to do. So that's why I did it. But yeah, the audition, it's hard to get in. Okay. It's not an easy thing. The audition process is like a week or 2 weeks long or something. And it has a lot to do with your dance ability and, making sure you can fit into the costumes, like, so your physical ability, like they had to do these crazy workouts and stuff like that. But it also had a lot to do with, not your personality, but I guess a bit because we were so fan facing.
Gotta be.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like they would have interviews with each girl one-on-one and really try to get to know what they're like. It takes a special person to be able to stand out on the concourse for an hour and talk to, hundreds of fans and take pictures and then dance and then remember the choreography and then like shake hands and kiss babies, So the audition process is, like I said, it's like a week and then you make the next round and then the actual finals are public. So anyone could come. So that was obviously nerve wracking. But once you've made the team, it doesn't end there. Like I was saying I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 nights a week. We had rehearsals that were 2 or 3 hours long. It's a half hour away from where I live. And then, getting to the games, you get there at like 3 o'clock and then you practice and you have the whole it's like a lot, but and on top of that you're out doing appearances in the community, which was really, really fun and really nice to get to do things like that. It was really special to like go to a basketball court refurbishment or a high school pep rally type of thing where they have the mascot there and things like that. So it's a real honor also to get picked, because it's not just how good of a dancer you are or if you're pretty or, whatever. It has so much, it goes much deeper than that. So I wanted it was, like I said, the foot in the door for this job that I have now, but it's something I would have probably done regardless had I, this didn't exist, and I feel really honored to have been a part of such a legacy. We've done these Magic Dancer reunions every 5 years.
Oh, right, okay.
So Yeah, so that's been I've done 2 of those since I've been on the team. The first year I was on the team, it was the 25th anniversary, and so they brought anyone who had ever been a magic dancer from then 25 years was invited, and to do a big halftime performance. So it was a big weekend reunion of all these women that share this special bond, and that was really, really cool. And then we performed at halftime. So they would do it by like era, like 5 years or 10 years at a time. So so cool. So the original magic dancer, they're I don't know, 50, 60 years old now. Or older, I don't know. I don't remember. But just amazing. And then you got, earlier and earlier and earlier, and ended with the current team. And it was just, and then we all danced together. It was really, really special. And getting to get to know some of these women was really, really cool. So the next one is coming up in a couple years. I'll be doing it.
I'm right in saying your dad's involved as well, isn't he?
Oh yeah. So my dad, so they have a team that used to be called the Dancing Dads. And to be on the Dancing Dads, you had to have a daughter who was currently or a former magic dancer. So when I became a magic dancer, my dad was like, yeah, sign me up. And and now that it's a co-ed dance team, it's a co-ed seniors team as well. So now it's still kind of the same concept, except there's women on it. And now they're called the Classic 407. 407 is the area code here in Orlando for people that don't know. Yeah. But what's funny is my dad, guys, maybe but people listening might not. My dad is, I'm really, really small, and my dad is about the same size as me. He is a tiny man, and sorry, Dad, but he's also the worst one on the dance team.
I reckon I could give him a run for his money.
This is true.
He's the worst and the best at the same time. Like, he provides everyone comic relief. He's always a beat or so behind everyone. He's like, can't do the dances without watching who's ever in front of him. I think the last game, they gave him a solo, and he told everybody about it. Everybody knew that my dad was going to have some solo, which was just cringy, Oh my God. But it's so funny. I post every time that he's dancing. And, you guys know who Dante Marcatelli is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Friend of the show.
Awesome. Well, Dante's amazing. My dad is a pediatrician here in town, so a kid's doctor. And he actually treats a lot of the people that work for the team's kids, including Dante's kids. So Dante tells this story of one night, it was my dad dancing, and he's sitting courtside, and he's sitting next to Coach Hill, and he leans over, and he points at my dad, Dante, and he goes, "Hey, Coach, that's my pediatrician, right?" And Coach goes, "Well, I hope he's a better doctor than he is a dancer." So, and then every time like Dante goes in to bring his kids, and my dad's like showing him the dances and like practicing for him. So funny. So yeah, it's always a good time.
Brilliant. That's amazing.
Right. So we've seen you, Cori, on our television screens here in the UK, presenting NFL's End Zone program. So how much fun has it been being able to travel to all the cities and doing the magazine program that you do, meeting the fans? And then lastly, the magic question, who is your NFL team? You better say Tampa Bay.
Well, I'll start there then. So I don't try to be unbiased. Like, I really am fairly unbiased. Okay. Who is my NFL team? I have family ties to the Patriots. Okay. So growing up, my family was always Patriots fans, and they're from Boston. So not that I cared that much, but like, that was always like, okay, I guess I like the Patriots, I guess, I don't know. But then when Tom Brady moved here to Florida, and like he was coming, and I was like, that's crazy. Like not that I was I don't know. I just was like, I love that story. I love that he's retiring in Florida, right? And then he flipping wins a Super Bowl, like, it's so cool. So I'm a like kind of a Tom Brady Patriots. I'm excited because it's down the street from me now with the Bucks. So yes, I'm on your page, but then I'm kind of all over the board. Then I kind of became a Bengals fan this season. I was really rooting for them. but honestly, so those are kind of like my go-tos, but like what happens is because I'm in a different city every week, and we're at the game and I'm like part of the tailgate and I'm like kind of enveloped in that team's culture. Like I'm always, and it sounds kind of like a throwaway, but I'm always rooting for what the home team on Thursday Night Football now. Like, you know, some more than others, but I always like for the home team to win because it's just it's more fun while we're there and it makes for a better show. So that's not quite a concise answer, but it's kind of Tampa, it's kind of the Patriots, kind of a little bit of everyone, but I am unbiased. That's the Cliff Notes version of what I just said.
Is there a team that you haven't covered yet that you really want to go to cover?
Oh, well, we haven't been to New York yet.
Please say the Raiders because Mike is going to be very upset. Mike is a huge Raiders fan.
I mean, we have kind of covered the Raiders, but I haven't been to Allegiant yet. So I definitely want to do that. And Raiders fans are so loyal and so cool, you know?
And crazy.
Crazy, but fun, cool. Like they're cool though. Like they're crazy. I always say this in every interview. Eagles fans are crazy. Okay. Yeah. Crazy. Raiders fans are just like passionate and like just are there for it. But yeah, like this show has been so fun. Quite the ride. Okay. I'm traveling every week. I'm in a different city every week for 22 weeks. It's a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. But it's still really awesome. I live in America and I haven't been everywhere. So it's been really neat to kind of go to all these places and it's all set up where I get to see the best of every city, because as you know, this show is half travel guide, half football show. So that's been really neat. I get a front row seat to the best tourist attractions in every town. I get to eat all the food. And then we go to the games and I see that team and that culture. And it's been, a lot, but really, really cool. And I'm so thankful. It's not for sure, but 99% there'll be a season 3. So just kind of gearing up mentally for that right now.
Cool. Does it ever
impede of the program? Sorry, G, go on, carry on.
Does it ever impede on the Magic schedule, or do they do it around the Magic schedule?
Oh, I thought, does the Magic change the schedule for me?
No.
It does impede on the Orlando Magic schedule. The first season, basketball, NBA didn't start until December, so it wasn't such a huge overlap. And during COVID, the games were super weird anyway. We were like segregated up into the upper bowl on a tiny little stage. So if I missed a couple games, it really wasn't that big of a deal. This season, it completely overlapped. And, I went to my boss and I was like, listen, they've renewed this show and I'm going to do it. It's a big opportunity for me. So whatever, you want to do is fine. And they were so nice. The Magic are so kind to me. And they're like, first of all, congratulations. That's awesome. Second of all, we'll take you when we can get you. So, for the most part, like I had to miss a bunch of games in the first half of the season, but D Strong is the bomb and he can do it on his own. And he likes when I'm there because it's less work for him. Plus we have fun, but yeah, so no, I do miss a lot of games in the first half of the season, but again, the Magic have just really been kind to me and have given me the chance to do both. So I'm really appreciative of that.
Will you be asking them to, when they bring the games over to Europe, we're hoping that you can come and do the end zone from Europe.
Oh, I'm working on that. Don't you worry. I've been planting that seed for 2 years. And like, from what I hear right now, outlook is good. At the end of the day, it's about budgets and things like that. But I just think it would be so cool because obviously the show is on TV in England and they're having the London game. I mean, the London games aren't a new thing, but it would mean a lot to me to be there because we can make a big thing of it with the end zone fans and the football fans on top of it. We could do, my idea to them, we'll see if it happens, was like, let's like set up a big tailgate, because you guys don't tailgate. Like, let's make it a big party and have a watch party for Thursday Night Football or whatever it is. And then do the Sunday game as well. So hopefully,
That's cool.
It's not out of the question. And if I'm there, you guys better come.
I was going to
Oh,
say,
we will.
there's three guests that are going to be there.
Yay, well, at least we got 3.
We'll bring our best drinking heads with us,
Perfect.
so we can tailgate properly.
Wait, who are your teams? I know you like the Bucks. What about the rest of you?
I'm a Raiders fan, so.
And I don't really follow. I'm one of those guys that literally watches the Super Bowl, and that's about it.
And end zone, right? And NFL end zone.
Absolutely, yeah, of course. I was going to say to you, on what I've seen of the end zones, the eating side of things is something that's quite important in the program. You have some good food experiences on that program.
Yeah, for sure. You want to hear? Okay, I'll tell you. I'm telling you all sorts of secrets, guys, today on this show. Okay, so I'll have you know that I am actually a pescatarian. So I eat fish, but I don't eat meat or chicken. So a lot of these things that I'm eating are either like a fake version of it. Like I think the Skyline chili they had a vegan version, or like I'll not eat the hot dog, or I'll, if you're actually seeing me, I'm never actually eating real meat. If you're ever seeing it, like the Philly cheesesteak was fake. Don't tell anyone. But that's the thing. The show, I tell people when I'm explaining what it is to people in America, England is a much smaller country, and America is so big, and every city is so different with the terrain, the food, the people, the demographic. And so it's really neat for the UK audience to get a mini tour of America. So you get to see what all these cities are like as well. So it's really neat. I really think the concept is perfect. And I get to eat a lot of fun food. There are days when I see this, or not eat it, but I see the schedule. I'm eating donuts today, and I'm going to like a gumbo place, and I'm like, and then they and of course the restaurant wants to like show off the everything, so they're giving me a table full of food, and I'm just like looking at it like, what am I supposed to do with all this food? Anyhow, when I was in Chicago last season, we went, and it's all it was like the deep dish pizza we have in Chicago. We were at Illuminati, I think, and they had like 5 pizzas on the table, and it's all for 10 seconds of a shot. For me, it's like, oh, and get your deep dish pizza at Illuminati's. That's it. All this food for nothing, So I think that day I took the pizzas, and there was a lot of homeless people, so I went and gave full pizzas to these homeless people, and it was cold out, and they were like, oh my God, this is amazing. So at least it cool. Did it. It got,
Yeah, it's doing good and spreading the love.
Yeah,
Good. All for it, Cori. All for it.
Absolutely. So what's the off season look like for you, Cori? Obviously, the Magic aren't back till October. Did you do it? Did you do anything for the NFL draft? Did you go to Vegas at all for that?
No, I didn't. They had thought about it, and then I'm not sure, what it was, but I did watch it on TV. So I don't know. So the Patriots episode this year, we interviewed Andre Tippett, who's in the Hall of Fame, the NFL Hall of Fame. He's married to my cousin Rhonda. So she's like blood cousin of mine. Anyhow, why I'm telling you that is his son was went to all the training camps and everything, and I don't know, you have to tell me, drafted, but he was invited to a training camp at the Patriots. So his name is Kobe Tippett. You guys keep an eye out. I'm excited for him. And he's Andre's son. So he's my cousin as well. So that's kind of cool.
Awesome.
You want to mention that to Dante, because Dante's a Patriots fan, isn't he?
Oh, I know. So when I was filming that episode, I was on the field at Gillette, in the middle, and I FaceTimed Dante. And I was like, wow, guess where I'm at? And he was like, he started crying. No, kidding. He wasn't crying, but he was definitely jealous. When I was in the trophy room with Bob Kraft, putting on all the Super Bowl rings, that was a huge moment. So, but yeah, what does my off season look like? Some, sunbathing, swimming, paddleboarding.
Hard life.
No, I'm trying to get my life back together. I'm only home for 2 or 3 days a week. There's a lot to do. I got some home projects and family stuff, but I'm going to try and have a summer. I don't know. I used to be in a band. I told you I was in music, and I have a birthday coming up this year. So for my birthday this year, what I'm going to do is I'm having my band reunion show. So yeah, we haven't played in over 10 years. So that's going to be my party, is all the guys getting back together. And so that's in August. So we've been doing rehearsals for that. I'm really excited and kind of scared, but it's going to be awesome. So it'll be super fun.
What is your go-to type of music? What do you listen to?
I like a little bit of everything. But I think I really, my music was pop rock, like rock. So I kind of gravitate towards like alternative music and stuff.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm all about the loud guitars.
What, loud guitar? Oh, do you see mine? Oh, God.
Oh, look at that.
I got a couple guitars there. I've always had guitars, but I've never been like that great. So during COVID, one of my projects was teaching myself again to play guitar. So I started from the bottom, and now I'm just slightly can play like 4 songs. So
awesome.
Quality.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where's the gig going to be at?
It's downtown Orlando at the Social. It's a like a staple music venue here. It's where my band used to play back in the day. And everybody's invited. So come on down August 13th. Oh my God, this is the first time I'm telling anyone publicly. Oh my God, that means it's happening. I'll start promoting it online once I or I'm gonna have one more rehearsal before I really commit. But it's happening. It's happening. Yeah. So downtown.
You've said it here now. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You've committed. That's it.
So yeah, it'll be cool, but to relive my past.
And what about opening night? You could have half-time show opening night.
No. One night only. Okay. Be there or be square.
Do the team have you doing anything for the draft lottery or for the draft night itself?
They haven't asked, no, but they probably have Strong there because he's a DJ. So it's easy for him to be on the ones and twos and on the microphone at the same time. So any big, I haven't honestly been following college. So is there anyone, are you guys excited about prospects?
Let's get the lottery out of the way first.
Yeah,
the lottery.
I know.
We don't get the college coverage that you do. So we literally get YouTube highlights. So you just see the best of. So you go in on a lot of what ESPN tell us, and these shows that we see online. So we don't get to see the true sort of player, as live. So it's very difficult for us to say we want,
right,
Chero or whoever. So we're almost going on what you guys say, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
so,
what Dante says.
I tend to wait until the draft lottery is out of the way and we know where we are.
Right.
So I can start looking then at, okay, is this who's likely to be available at 5 or who's likely to be available at 3?
Yeah, true.
I'm going with 5 already.
Oh, Paul.
We always pick 5 or 6. That's where I'm going.
I know. We never have good luck with that, except for, way back in the day. So it's our time. It's our turn. Okay.
100%.
Our turn. Hey, so when you're watching the Magic, I have a question for you guys. When you're watching the Magic games, do you have League Pass or how are you watching them? You have League Pass. So
League Pass.
Does that mean you see me?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
All the if it's if it's grabbing the cash or it's the operation game or any of those sorts of things. Yeah, we're watching. We see.
That's so fun. Yeah. I didn't know that until a few years ago. And people would start sending me photos of me on their TV. I'm like, how are you seeing that? And I didn't realize that League Pass, for those of you that don't know, when they go to commercial, in arena, okay, when they go to commercial on TV, in arena, they come to us on the Jumbotron, right? So that's when you're watching an NBA game, where the entertainment happening during the timeouts. So, but for League Pass, they can't go to commercial because then those people would have to pay to have their commercials on. So they go to the Jumbotron feed, which is us. So that's so cool. I had no idea for the longest time.
Yeah. We get the halftime shows and all that. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, so
who's your favorite halftime
entertaining
act?
the whole world.
That's
not Red Panda.
No, I know. Yeah. Everyone thinks she's great. She's a legend. But this guy that was just there towards the end of the season I forget his name, but he was balancing ladders on his chin. The chin balancer. He was balancing full on 8-foot tables on his chin. It's pretty incredible. This dude.
They're all good. Red Panda probably on 10 times with the playoffs and everything, because we still get the halftime shows of like the Celtics and the Bucks. So we've seen her about 10 times in the last 2 months. So once you've seen it once, that's enough.
I know.
So,
Christian and Scooby are my go-to, honestly. The little dog that comes out the boombox.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, anything that's dogs is good.
Yeah,
always. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when are you guys coming to Orlando? You're coming,
October.
right?
We will be over in October for the start of the season. So Paul's there for opening night.
I'll be there opening night. Yeah.
Do you know what date that is?
No, I'm guessing sort of around the 18th, something like that.
18th, I want to say.
Okay. Well, I mean, hopefully I'll be there. Like my schedule is, again, either Tuesday through Friday or Wednesday through Friday for NFL. So hopefully it works out. Last season I was there for opening night, so we'll see.
And then Mikey and G, you arrive the week after me, don't you? So then we've got 2 weeks together. I'm there for 3 weeks, and guys are there for a fortnight. So we've got 2 weeks all together.
Oh, so amazing! Okay, well
there will be a loud and proud NBA Europe and Orlando Magic UK representation. You will know where we are in the arena, I promise.
Amazing! I can't wait. Awesome.
Well, thank you for joining us, Cori. It's been great having you on. Finally, we got you on this week. Just a reminder for everybody listening, we're doing our own watch party next week for the draft lottery on Tuesday evening. So if you want to sign up and join us on Zoom, we're doing a live stream for all the UK fans on here. So go to orlandomagicuk.com and sign up for that. Thank you as always for listening and watching. Please subscribe to our podcast. And for the latest news, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, all at Orlando Magic UK. So from Cori, Geraint, Paul, and myself, until next time, go Magic.
Let's go Magic.
There we go.